that question very interesting when I first heard it. The answer came rather apparently. In the past 8 years, Mayor Moccia has defined himself. We don't have to define him. We can define him as a leader who has not led, a manager who has not managed, and a supervisor who has not supervised. Again, who has failed to take advantage of opportunities to gain new revenue streams and to bring in new jobs by having completed projects that will bring in mixed-use development. When do I start? I think we already have. You know, when I worked under Mayor Moccia for 8 years, we had a relatively amicable relationship. And I think his campaign team and him feel very strongly that I am the person to beat. My team is the team to beat. I'm sure you've all heard a lot of misinformation that's being put out there. It's very disappointing to me because I have a firm belief that in order to have the tallest building in town, you can do it one of two ways. You can tear everybody else's building down, or you can build the tallest one. My campaign has chosen to take the high road, to not to fall into those kinds of comments, and to build the tallest building. And we will continue to do that. So I'm sure in the final analysis, just like when you saw Linda McMahon spend $110 million on 2 elections, getting very, very negative, the voters quickly turned against her, and she lost in spite of all that money. So we're going to build the tallest building and continue to build the tallest building.
I guess it's redefining what the current administration is, and that's again mismanagement, missteps, miscues. For example, let's look at the pier at Cap Pasture Beach. 2 years ago, that went down in a storm. I'm going to question whether or not the city received federal funding for that. Don't know. We haven't heard about that. We've been told we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. We hit another storm. Is it possible we've misspent that money somewhere else, and now we're never going to get the money from the federal government? These are questions. These are simple missteps, miscues. You want to talk about the paving project on election day? You know, it may not have been the decision of the mayor to pave on that day, but you know what? That's the person that is responsible for everything that goes on. And for 2 weeks prior to that election day to say, we're going to make sure that every road and every avenue is cleared in the city of Norwalk prior to election day so that everyone has the right to vote. And then to find out that a project is being done on election day and not do anything about it, that's mismanagement. Whether he knew about it or not, it's mismanagement. He did not step up to the challenge and say, you know what, Hal, can't do it that day. Wait one more day. I don't care what happens. I am in charge here. I make the decisions. And you know what? It's a trickle-up theory. Because all the problems we've been having with the Board of Education, or small problems with getting a beach sticker, or anything that goes on in this city is the mayor's fault. That's the distinguishing factor right here. We change that. We come in, we listen to the taxpayers, we get things done.
Thank you. You all in this room pay close attention, pretty close attention. You all know, and I just want to acknowledge a couple of my colleagues here, both Councilman Watts and Councilman Pena. And folks like myself and Chairwoman Brown, we've been taking the fight to the mayor for 2 years now. That's why the mayor is in the vulnerable position that he's in. So let's be clear about that. We've been fighting for a long time to make sure that the public knows the vulnerabilities and the shortcomings of this administration. And they've been aplenty. Just like the road paving on election day, we were out there with Channel 12 to make sure that they were present that day to get it on the news. And Congressman Himes, thank you to Mark, he was able there to help get that resolved, you know, in a short period of time for us. So we have the people out there know the mayor's shortcomings when it comes to education. They know his shortcomings when it comes to actually putting a concerted effort to combat violence that's happening in certain segments of our community. The public already knows the ineptitude to bring a business agenda here to this community so we can finally start to grow our tax base and alleviate the burden from our residential homeowners and our existing business owners. The people already know that this administration has no legislative agenda up in Hartford coming from City Hall. That's something that we've talked about in an opinion piece over the past couple months. And they know that this mayor, when he had an opportunity to take some guns off the street, he took about 24 off the street, while other cities throughout our state were taking hundreds and hundreds of guns at an opportunity when we so desperately needed to do so. So, like I said, at the end of the day, this election is going to come down to who could present the biggest contrast to the current administration. And I'd like to say that I'm going to be that candidate that's going to represent a positive vision for our city, where we can go out there and fight tirelessly on each of the 85,000 people's behalf. And that's what this election is going to be about. And I think Mr. Moccia knows that it's coming. Thanks.